What's up, guys? Give me a second here. Okay, read that title, and we got a few things to talk about. So, there is a theory going around with the big question on how in the world did BoMac, two things. Did BoMac bring a gun into the UK? Did BoMac purchase a gun in the UK in an attempt to bring it back? Or while he was traveling through the borders, US and UK customs didn't catch it. So those are the facts, right? I'm going to pose a theory that was presented to me by one of you guys in a comment of a video I did a few days ago when this story was breaking. And that theory to me has some legs. But before we get to that, I want to talk about some breaking news coming out of the lightweight division. ESPN Ringside is reporting Shakur, Stevenson, and Frank Martin have agreed to a deal for the WBC lightweight fight that will likely take place on either November 16th in Vegas or December 9th in New York. Shakur Stevenson versus Frank Martin for the vacant WBC lightweight world title is reportedly now agreed, as Bob Arum's Top Rank and TGB Promotions, on behalf of Al Heyman's PBC, have done a deal to stage it on Top Rank ESPN show. If you guys remember, there were purse bids dated September 5th. Those have been canceled. Now, could you imagine a Shakur Stevenson versus Frank Martin as a co-main event on the same card as Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. too? That seems pretty exciting. On that note, Crawford been kind of quiet on his posting on Instagram, but he posted today a montage of a shirtless version of himself in the gym, talking about that he stays in the gym and he stays ready. And a lot of people are suggesting that he is announcing to the world the next fight at 154 with Errol Spence Jr. Time will tell on that. Let's talk about the gun theory, and this is what I was told, and this kind of makes sense to me, but I couldn't track it. I couldn't go deep enough to see if some of the facts were factual. So just remember, this is a theory from one of you guys who told me, and I want to present it to see by just bringing it up if any of you guys have heard about it. But allegedly, during the one of the fights in America, Chris Eubank Jr. was stateside with Crawford's camp and with BoMac, and allegedly Eubanks likes to fly private wherever he goes, from the UK to the States, there and back. And the story goes that when they were flying from the States to the UK, BoMac was with Eubank Jr., and on that private flight, that's where BoMac had his gun, and it was kind of like a nonchalant sort of action, something that he generally always does. And because they were flying private, the security and the restrictions, if you were going domestic or international, the security wouldn't be as stringent. Now, on the way back, after the Eubanks Jr. fight in the UK, in Manchester, obviously Eubanks Jr. doesn't fly back private to the States. BoMac has to fly commercial because, you know, he went there private, flies back to commercial. Allegedly, that's when the gun was found on him, and that is the theory that was presented to me. And it kind of sounds crazy, but not. The only way we could fact check it to see if Eubanks Jr. was in the States, I've been looking, I couldn't find anything. I'll leave it up to you guys to educate me, because if Eubanks Jr. was in the States and they all flew together to the UK, that kind of makes sense to me. I don't see anybody reporting it. Like I said, my sources, I don't want to say the name, but if you read some of the comments from the past videos about this, they presented that as a theory. And I guess it's a known thing that Eubanks Jr. likes to fly private. I mean, if you have the cash, who wouldn't? I keep replaying in my head how a guy like BoMac, with everything in front of him, with all of his body of work, culminating with, just greatness right now around him, how he makes a mistake like that. And the only thing I could think of, we talked about yesterday about his ego. I don't know if it's that, because a boxer's, you're in the boxing community as a former fighter and a trainer. You know what it's like to get hit in the face, both physically and metaphorically. So that helps deter the ego. So I couldn't wrestle and agree that that was the case, right? That I couldn't fathom that, oh, it was his ego. It's something I brought up the other day. Then I was thinking, was it an intelligence issue? But BoMac is a smart guy. He's a technician in there. He's the puppet master behind the game planning of Crawford's game plan. I know a lot of you guys, I posted on the Facebook group about, Bud Crawford needs a new coach. And you guys were like, obviously he has a team of coaches. But there's a difference, guys, between pad holders and a designer, a guy who designs the game plan. And that's what BoMac is. He's the guy who kind of, holds the strings of the puppet in between the rounds, going into camp, during the fight, making adjustments. That's a big deal. So to say that he didn't know that guns were illegal because it was an intelligence issue, I don't buy that either. Unless you guys present to me a better theory or we just wait until the facts come out, how far-fetched it seems. The one that seems the most plausible is the one, maybe he flew private to the UK, busy, fight camp, fight week, fight happens, elated, and then he's like, oh shit, I have to fly back to the States. I have this gun on me. What do I do? And maybe that was the case. That makes more sense to me. What do you do with the gun? Some people are saying he bought the gun in the UK, but I don't know if I buy that. I'd like to see some receipts. Some people said he got mugged last time he was in the UK. It was for protection. I don't know about that either. All of those things are conjecture. The facts still need to be played out, right? We'll know with time. He's in a jail until October. That's crazy. People talk about the law and the legislation over there with guns being the strictest in the world. People talking about each bullet you have in a loaded gun is is more time on your sentence. These are all things that I hope that he probably already knew. And what do you tell a judge? That's going to be interesting. And how is the legal system there? How do they handle this? Will they make it all public? Because it looks behind the scenes that this rematch is happening. And Bud hasn't given a statement yet, which is interesting. And I've been trying to pay attention. Everyone else involved with BoMac hasn't given a statement. Chris Eubank Jr. hasn't commented on it. Pretty interesting. And I don't want to play the game of he was set up. That's you guys' job. Because yesterday we did this video. Somebody was like saying, and then I get emotional about it and I call you on it and then you tell me you were just playing. So if there is a theory that you guys know that plausible enough, he was set up like a Guy Ritchie film, because if that's the case, this is a Guy Ritchie film. Let me know in the comment section below. Put the notifications on, guys. Subscribe. This is going to be the modality moving forward. I feel more comfortable doing these lives. I've been podcasting since 2016, and it just seems way more free-flowing for myself and for me to get to know you guys. So whatever you guys want to chat about, all things boxing, combat sports, let me know in the comment section below. And like always, I appreciate you guys.